So starting a new brand will always be a scary endeavor. There's a lot of risk to it, a lot of uncertainty. It's a huge learning curve, especially when you don't know where to begin. So I hope this video will help light a spark for anyone who's ready to take the chance in making their dream brand a reality, give you a small push in the right direction. There's a saying, fear everything and run, or face everything and rise. If you're ever needing inspiration, take it from what you know, the things you like. Me, I've always inspired from anime, RPG games like Final Fantasy, mechbots, and Sentais, aka Power Rangers. I'm also an avid mask collector. Just something about their symbolism. We all wear masks, to make us something we are or we aren't. They're meant to hide things or portray ideas. In art, masks are used to tell stories of creation, to amuse and to scare. On that note, in the words of Steven Pressfield, out of a list of things you want to do, pursue the things that scare you the most. This is where we'll begin our next journey. Before you start a brand, are you ready to put yourself through multiple tests? Challenge yourself to learn more than any schooling is able to teach you, learn how to put out unprecedented fires at any given moment, and also go through multiple failures on a regular basis? You will fail. It's inevitable. It's part of the process of trials and tribulations. Fail until the chances of failure get smaller. So, now we have this general idea. I could take the time and effort to try and learn Blender to create this in 3D for ourselves, but that's gonna take several hours. At this stage in my life, I would recommend that you guys just find someone more versed in that designated area. You know, ask them for a favor and really just leave the task to the professionals. I'ma see if my friend Gutu, who's way more seasoned in this 3D than I am, can do it for me. What are friends for? In the beginning, you're filling multiple roles and wear a variety of quote-unquote masks as the brand creator. Everything from being the visionary to creative director, designer, web developer, photographer, videographer, financier, marketing agent, sales rep, the list goes on forever, friend. This is more than a full-time job, so be ready to show up for your brand every day if you plan on it to succeed. Of course, people will be able to help fill these roles when you start growing, but that will come in time. When inspiration strikes, the best time to act on it is right away. The longer you wait on it, or put it on the back burner, the more the initial fire will inevitably go out. Get your ideas down on paper, on a napkin, and if you can't sketch, use a notepad and jot. If you try and revisit the idea when it's less hot, you might not be able to create that initial resolve to actually follow through. More motivation to continue comes from going through the process of actually starting. Keep in mind, people will gravitate towards you and the brand you build because of the stories you tell, and the story begins when you leave your comfort zone. I inspired a lot from the book The Hero with 1,000 Faces, written by Joseph Campbell.
Why the hero with 1,000 faces?
Well, because there is a certain typical hero sequence of actions, which can be detected in stories from all over the world and from many, many periods of history.
A staple in art history class. I think this book could also be the catalyst to my mask collection. It proposes the idea that all hero stories follow a similar pattern, and that by understanding this pattern, we can better understand ourselves and our place in the world. The book outlines the hero's journey, where all adventures start unexpectedly. You begin with a call to adventure, but then you refuse to accept the call to leaving your metaphorical home because of a fear and because of a sense of comfortability. Then suddenly you find a mentor or inspirational aid that equips you with the tools and motivation to accept the call. That's when you venture into the world of the unknown. You'll eventually pass the point of no return. You go down roads of trials, meet friends that will help, and foes that will try and break you. You'll be met with obstacles, be tempted with desires, face fears and unlimited doubts to try and stop you from continuing. But with every problem faced comes knowledge and evolution. You become more armed and aware, you gain more strength, and eventually you'll be strong enough to face the final dungeon to receive rewards. The crazy part is, once you've developed enough in your being as the hero to your own story, you're likely to refuse even going back to normal life. Nothing can compare to what was once normal, and you'll want to continue finding more adventures. Like any RPG game or movie with a protagonist, there's the departure, the initiation, and the return. When starting a brand, the name is important and should symbolize the values or a certain mantra you want to illustrate. So come up with a logo, create the image assets that represent your brand and ultimately who you want to be seen as. The more you can personally relate to your merch and product, the more relatable the idea is to others. And the ones who won't appreciate it were never meant to be part of your community. So get used to the naysayers and hate, because they're also part of the journey. Once you understand this reality, you'll never cause yourself suffering. Always design something for you, and when you have a logo, a direction, and a theme, then we're ready to really start the adventure. Look how squared off the nose is. So that was super intentional. The bridge of the nose is also super straight. Tried to kind of give it a cyborg, where it still has the human facial features, but I mean, it's a robot. Also, shout out to Gutu. You did well on this project. I just handed him off my idea, came over, looked at the prototype that I first printed out, we made adjustments, and this is the final product of what we came up with. Now, we just gotta refine this a little more. There's a few little things on the back here that I can also get rid of, but drill the holes for the temple area here, and also for the eye holes. And the reason why we're gonna keep them just drilled holes, the technology is gonna resemble pinhole glasses, but we'll talk more about that later. A hard part of it is, you have to become very business oriented. Allocate your time, your money, and resources wisely. This means disappearing from the world for a period of time and locking yourself away in your studio to really see your vision through. This also means investing money and resources that you know will be beneficial for your brand. This is the part where you're finding yourself, really learning to gain knowledge, finding mentors, whether it be through self-education like books or tutorials online, or teachers in real life. Aside from investing in your knowledge and time to yourself, you're investing some funds into things like studio equipment, printers, camera gear, and prototypes. Create aimful goals. Be realistic with your timelines and due dates, but also be the best boss you've ever had for yourself as well as your own best friend. There are some things we are good at and many things we aren't. To get further in life faster, there's a statement that rings true. Use your strength to work on your strengths. This world needs more people who are doing what they are actually fond of doing. Remember, this is a long-term project. Build confidence in your art, acquire self-discipline, practice self-validation, and plan perseverance. Often as creators, we'll find ourselves asking, what if this fails? Will this even go anywhere? Is this worth my time and effort? Is anyone even going to like what I create? Self-sabotage is very real and will be a part of any person pursuing a project. The creativity part is not the main problem. We can all be creative and we all have a crazy amount of cool ideas. The main thing for us to get over is to find some way to get past the force that's blocking us for following our dream brand. That is our ego, our negative self-talk. Take it from me. Negative inner talk is bullshit. Don't buy it. You're good enough to start. You're worthy. You have plenty of amazing ideas and the strengths and resources to be able to accomplish them. And you have the power to begin that journey you've always wanted to take part in at this very moment. The only thing stopping you is you. Not anyone's judgments, not the lack of money, although that can be a part of it, not the lack of knowledge or resources, but the idea that we're not meant to make great things. There's still a few more details I want to add to this thing, including the decals that go all over it, make it more techy. We're also going to be filming some transitions with this thing today. Just get better photos and videos and actually use the crane. I'm gonna finish getting ready. It's basically like what I was wearing yesterday. The most tech stuff that I have, which is by M56 mostly, because he's one of the originators out there. Panzerkunst. The stories that we tell, the music that we make, poetry that we write, and art that we create is a vessel to sharing our thoughts and ideas with the world. Remember, building a successful brand takes time, a lot of patience, and a hell of a lot of effort, not to mention persistence. Stay true to your brand's values without compromising who you are, and try your hardest to consistently deliver on your promises to yourself. If you really want to create something that lasts, work hard and smart. And lastly, have fun with it, have faith in it, and show up every day to accomplish the things that will move your personal brand forward. This means doing everything on your to-do list. And it's important to believe in yourself even when it seems like no one else does. Let this be your call to adventure. You got this.